Hello, welcome back to the land of Kakiak. My name is Laurel and I am the mom to 3 boys who I homeschool using the Robinson curriculum as the face of our education. I wanted to talk to you today about some free resources I put together for you. Okay, so in one of my recent videos I was talking about I mentioned this resource on my left. It's made by Karen over at our house, and it's her RC Phonics flashcards lesson plan. And I said it was a good place to start. I agree with myself still. It is written for the original McGuffey primer. There's a eclectic primer and there's a pictorial primer. So when I first started the Robinson curriculum, I did not own those. I had access to the revised editions, the printable, the PDFs that come with the program, which are also available in the public domain. Go to Project Gutenberg and get those. I love them so much. I've never felt so strongly about an educational resource, but I bought a used set, like this one. I think this is from the 40s. It's the cutest thing. It's just a total sidebar. Like someone's name. Look at that beautiful handwriting. Anyways, I just got off on my love tangent. What was I saying? So I was using these resources. So I kind of looked at this. But then I just quickly was like, it didn't match up with what I was using. So I just kind of started doing my own thing. And I was like, the other day, I was like, I bet a lot of people are using, this, and may be interested in how other people are using them. So I just tried to gather my thoughts today and put onto paper basically what I do in our method, and I just thought I would give you what I had and see if that could be a help to you. Okay, so I'm going to turn the camera to my desk so I can just talk you through what I've linked for you down below. And if you have any questions at all, just leave me a comment. And if you like it and want me to do more of these, leave me that comment too. All right, well, welcome to class, everybody. All right, so first, what are you looking at? So you are looking at part of the stack of my RC phonics flashcards. And I talked about these a little bit and compared them with the Mont Media flashcards in a recent video as well. There's actually a lot of them. But I have this first section just sectioned off because this is where we start, right, with the alphabet lessons. So this is free to you. This is not. This is ordered through the Robinson curriculum, and I'll link their website down below. I think it was about $20 for this set on really nice cardstock. So when you flip them over, it shows you all of the uses of A, all the sounds it makes. So A says a, right? And it gives you in order of what you see like most often. So you most often see short A's, right? And then long A's, and then ahs, right? And then long A's, I guess, with the E, I think is what that means. And then the like above. So yeah, it gives you, these are cool cards. I love them. And I use them mostly in the beginning with my alphabet lesson plan. So I just have this in there for you because you're gonna want to teach your child the ABCs, right? That's like the first thing I think we all teach our kids is just sing the ABCs. I do like to show them both the upper and lower case. Might as well kill 2 birds with 1 stone. And I just give some suggestions. So like my little, he's 4, and we start by singing the alphabet slowly. A, B, C, D, normal, and then normal, and then A, B, C, D, E, F, G, like really fast, because he knows the fast parts coming up, and he gets so excited for it. But, I like to point to each one. Sometimes I have him point, which, can be kind of all over the place, but we're just slow and steady. This is part of our daily warm-up, and we point to each one as we go. And then if you want a challenge, you can try to sing it backwards. ZYXWVUT. You know, they'll think that maybe is kind of fun too. So I do have a reward system, and I put a little note down here about it, and I just want to show you. So I recently upgraded my index card box. I went from this was it was too short. So I bought all three of the boys a recipe tin, and I switched their index cards into these recipe tins, but I still had these, and I made them into one of them into Bo's reward box. So every week I change it out, like something little we already have, nothing like major. Like it might be, like this week it was some Legos, right? Because I usually don't let them have Legos in the schoolroom because they just get everywhere and I step on them. They love them so much that they don't want to do school if Legos are in here. So I might put something small like Legos or just like a favorite toy or something. Anyways, so have like a little reward for your kids. It's like not food, really not like candy or something. Although sometimes I do let them have gum as a reward, like for stuff. Like if you do this, you can have some gum, or I'll let you have gum while you color or something, But when you're done coloring, you have to spit it out, and that's like a way to keep them working to finish, like see something through. Okay, so singing the ABCs is pretty basic. So I have an ABC sequence of how I like to teach the ABCs. So when we start we know the ABC song, but the actual letter names and to recognize them and to be able to say the sound. So I always first start with the students, like the letters of their name. So Beauregard is a really long name, right? Like that would feel like that's quite a few letters to learn. But he goes by Beau a lot, so I'm teaching him B, E, A, and U to begin with, because it will be a really big accomplishment if they could write their name. I know the Sunday school and the Awanas kids, they're about the same age as, they're in the 3 to 5 range. The ones that can write their name are just so proud to show you. If you hear stomping, it's the kids upstairs. But yeah, so I like to have a goal there, something that they can use over and over and over. Like so far, Beau can write both the big and the little B, and he is writing B's on everything he possibly can. For us, we are teaching B, E, A, and U first, then I could just, obviously take those off of, where's my B? There it is. Take those off of further lessons because he'll already have mastered them, because we don't move on until they are mastered. And nope, these are not mastered yet. Especially A has 4 sounds. E has 3, right? So I'm teaching them all the sounds to begin with, and there's no rush on this. It's just on their own time. They'll learn it when they learn it. He's only 4. I'm not in a huge rush to get through this in a month or something. If this takes me 2 years, that's completely fine with me. Letter activity ideas. These are things that I do with my kids. I left a bunch of blank spaces so that you could write your own ideas or your favorites if you wanted to keep this in your binder with your records or however you keep stuff. I actually keep his stuff, a lot of this, on a clipboard right now because it's just easier for me to grab it out for him. So full page letter. This is how we like to start. So he is, learning B, E, A, and U. That's his group of letters, right? So you could introduce those one at a time or all at once. So I have these all for you to print out full size if you'd like. And what I like to do is to have him, say this is an A, and then we would talk about the sounds of A, right? There's A, ah, and then that A, I think sounds like a schwa, so it's like but we talk about those and I have him color it in, right? Color. That's that could be one whole day. And saying the sounds, talking about it, singing your ABCs. Then the next day he could glitter it. I love this glitter glue. We use it for a ton of stuff. But if you put a little bit of glitter glue on something, it actually makes it scratchy. We call it scratchy numbers, making scratchies. And then they can feel it. And it's kind of like a dupe for all those flashcards that have like little sandpaper on them that they're supposed to feel. It's like the same idea. Another one that we have done is puff paint. And this just was something I just happened to have around the house, and you can actually make dots, little dots. Little dots or little lines, and they'll remember doing this and they'll think it's like super cool, right? I mean, I'm not doing the best job, but this does take, I mean, this one takes 4 hours, it says, to dry. So you could have them do the A, and this is like, you know, novelty. Our brains really seem to hold on to novelty. I might as well do the glitter so you can see the glitter glue. I'll link some of these too, like that, right? You can make a line, and what I like about the glitter glue is it just like, you can go like that, kind of pat it, and then when it dries, you can feel the glitter through it, like it's scratchy, right? Anyways, that's something they can feel over and over. You also could put it in one of those, one of these, I call them my dry erase envelopes, you know, so that they could color it over and over or trace it over and over if you wanted, if you don't want to have to keep printing them. So just some ideas, just like playing around. Then they get the little A too, you know. And I've got one for everyone, so just as each one, you might want to do that like the first day you introduce a letter as you go through your stuff with the big ones, and then with the full size, and then you move on. Right, and that'll take you forever to get through. It'll be a lot of good opportunities for learning and activities. So moving on is pan writing. So pan writing is when, so what I mean by that is when you take like a baking sheet and you can put either we use flour, like basically whenever we're like baking, the kids are begging for some flour because we've been doing this forever. Like you can put it on your cutting board, or like I said, baking sheet that has like a lip on it, and you can have them trace out their letters in the flour, and then, you know, they can start over. And I make them do it for a certain amount of time. And then, you know, I was like, let me see it. You have to make one good little A, you know, and then you say, good job, and they finally do it. And then you can give them like their cars or whatever, and then they can make it snow, and it could be something they play with for a while. But you can also use cornstarch. We've played with shaving cream. You know, that actually erases really nicely. Sing or patty cake with letter sounds. Okay, please forgive me for doing this. But we will, like, you know, put, you know, letters out, and we might do something like A says and we do it again with the A sound and with the ah sound. B is easy, it's only one sound. Okay, so patty cake with letter sounds is like something similar. Like we'll just do patty cake. A says A says A. You know, like A says A says like you can do it on the table, you can do it with each other, and you know, it's good, especially that cross movement is good for their little connectors in their brain. We do that too to learn left, right, they say it back and forth, you know. Anywho, so if you make it a little bit physical, make it a song, right? And then you can do that with all the sounds. And then, so we do those a lot, and then a game of memory. So this is like, this has been super, super, I don't know, helpful. Memory flashcards. So I keep all like their flashcards in my tin now for them. So I've got their math ones in here, and I've got their letter ones in here. So I just put them behind, you know, these index cards as letter memory. And I've got a current section. So the current ones that they are on are here, right? And we would, like, before we start the day, like, we would warm up. So we might sing our ABCs, and then we would warm up with whatever cards they're on, you know, and I would repeat all the sounds, and we might say the words, and then we do one of these activities. But, so you just flip these over, right? And what you're trying to do is match the big and the little letters. And when I first started playing it with them, I probably just was doing just matching the big and the little. but we've kind of, and we just would say the sounds, but now I'm kind of stepping it up. So, oh, first try. So even if I got a big B and a little b, because I want them to know that that's the same letter, he'd have to say, before he could claim his match, he'd have to say buh. I'd say, what does B say? Buh. And like if it's, you know, E, he'd have to say, oh yeah, he'd have to say e, I for the sounds of E, you know. Oh, and sh. We do e, I, and sh for the silent E, because you see a lot of silent E's. Okay, yeah, now you can do it. So the game goes fast, but he asks to play. He's like, can we play with my letters? Like, he loves it. And then we'll usually close with using just these to drill him to see which ones, if he has the sounds memorized. And, you know, the ones that he still needs to practice, we just keep adding on to them. Oops, that was the wrong one. We just keep adding on. So these are his current ones, and I'm not going to like worry. I'm not gonna worry about putting them into mastered, because see, I just have current and on deck, because we don't want to put them into like a mastered section, because it is we're trying to constantly be reviewing. I don't want him to forget, you know. So we're gonna end up with like a massive memory game at some point, or we might split it up into smaller, you know, chunks to do smaller memory games, but we're gonna keep reviewing those ones. And you can do they think it's a fun memory game if you use the full size letters too, and have a huge memory game, you know, with the big ones. So kids like novelty, but I don't want them to be spending a lot of mental energy on figuring out new rules to a new game or new activity all the time. So we do a lot of the same things over and over. And I talked about this in a previous video, but I have heavy letter days and heavy number days. But I always do, even if it's a heavy number day, we are still doing some letters, but just not as much. Okay, so back to our activities. You can do a letter scavenger hunt. So we'll take sticky notes and just write a big A and a little a, you know, around the house, and tell him to go find the one that says ah, find the one that says buh, you know. You might get to a point where you are, they've got lots of letters, and some of the letters have overlapping, you know, like find the one that says ah, right? That could be A or O. So maybe they bring you back an A and a O. So then you know they really, really know their sounds. Okay, so then of course there's chalk writing. So you can write on the chalkboard or outside on the sidewalk, or sky writing. So that's like writing up in the air, or finger, you know, air writing, sky. We call it sky writing. We try to make it really, really big and then little. So he's still at this age. He still doesn't have he doesn't hold his pencil right, you know. So I'm not super worried about, you know, making him. I'm not trying to make him like right yet. I just want him to recognize it, be able to tell me the sound, and to make it's not fine motor skills, but gross motor skills, you know, of the shape. The other thing we do is we form Play-Doh or play foam letters. I actually prefer play foam because it's a little less messy. I'm gonna grab it. Okay, so I'll link these down below too for you. These are just on Amazon, but so the only thing I wish they weren't two-sided. I wish they were single-sided, because I can't do like A and B, you know, at the same time, spell out his name, but it's fine. But this is one they like. So this play foam, I don't know if you guys seen it before. It's like all these little, almost like styrofoam balls or something. They come in different colors, but these are all mixed up now. But it kind of feels like you're playing with Rice Krispie treats. They can use it to make, and it's sticky, a little bit tacky, so it'll like stick, right? So they can make the shapes. And again, this is another good activity for like when they're done, if he makes the letters that I have for him to work on that day, he can just play with it. And like one of his favorite things to do with it is actually, look at that, and it sticks to it. It won't fall off. Is that fun? It's super fun. I don't know how long it's gonna last. I've had this a couple months and it's still going. we will usually use this to go on to our number practice because this is tacky and so it's easier to catch, and we'll play catch. We'll go 1, 2, 3, you know, we'll see how far we can go. 4, 5, and you know, sometimes you let them step back a little step every time if they catch it and they say the right number, they can step back a step, so you're going farther and farther apart. So you're adding that little element of danger and excitement to it. It asks to play catch with this, and so if you're supposed to catch with this, that's another thing. I'm like, okay, but you've got to play me a game of letters first or something, you know. And okay, so, or yeah, you can stamp kinetic sand. I have some kinetic sand, and I bought some cookie cutters, and he does like to stamp it with the cookie cutters that are letters and numbers. You can also bake letter cookies. I keep saying I'm going to do that, and then I haven't actually baked any cookies yet, which my children, I'm sure, are crying themselves to sleep as we speak about it. Okay, anyways, so those are my letter activities. I also have, I think I didn't I printed this one out first. The alphabet. So this is free in my TPT store, and so like after they do the big full-size letters, I like them to come through and do it just a little bit smaller. All right, we're gonna work our way down, and it says draw an apple. I think I held the little pencil in his hand and helped him write that. This is his apple. He tried to trace. So we like to do trace right, trace right, trace right. As you can see, you know, his pencil control, he tries to hold it right, but he doesn't. Their little hands just aren't ready for it yet. So I don't really push that. It's just kind of, we can go through these ones, right? He colored that one in, and he did the glitter, so he can feel this with his finger now when he does this. And we drew ants, you know, for the ah sound. See, I didn't even make him do it that day. So let's say you're going along, you're doing all these activities, and I give you a little ABC lesson record, so you can say what date you worked on it, what letters you worked on, what letter form activity you did, and what letter sound activity you did. So letter form activity, that's things like, you know, anything that you're writing or forming the letter. Letter sound activity would be like, say, the patty cake, you know, you're doing the sounds, or the scavenger hunt, and you're working on, you know, recognizing the letter, knowing the sounds, and being able to form it, make the form in some way. You know, they don't have to perfect handwriting, but we're moving in that direction, right? And then, yeah, this is just when you actually master it. So you might keep those all together. So let's say you're a child, can sing their ABC song, right? They recognize, they've done all these activities and practice, and they've mastered all of these letters. They recognize them, they can tell you the sound, and they can form them, you know, roughly, at least. And, you know, they'll get better over time. Like I said, this might take like 2 years. I don't care. You can get all through preschool and all through kindergarten with this. Is totally fine with me. We're doing other things too. You know, we're reading books and stuff. So we get all the way through that. I give you a little note. When that is done, then you can move on to practicing sounding out closed syllable words with short vowels, you know, like cat, you know. And you may use McGuffey's Eclectic Primer Revised Edition, or any other primer of your choice, right? You could do that. You could use this with anything. So, oh yeah, and you have, in this program, I keep grabbing that one. Oh yeah, in this program, you have all of the alphabet cards, like oops, those are my numbers. So in this program, you'll have all of the ABC cards, and I do them double because you can have a second set. Just because sometimes you might want them to just copy what you're doing. Like maybe you're putting them in alphabetical order or something, like A, B, C, D. Maybe you're like mix them up and have them put the ABCs in order. Like sometimes you want to like demonstrate it while they're doing it so they can copy you. So I do that sometimes. Anyway, so that's why there's 2 sets of that, and that's in this printable with all this stuff. Okay, so let's say you're past ABCs and you're ready to work on the primer. I have something for you to go with that.